Very good afternoon, and thank you very much for coming to this lecture, which is the last lecture in the semester. This is actually the last lecture for me this semester as well, so I'm very excited, as you may know. I called it some final comments because I really don't have anything new to tell you. I just wanted to review everything that we've done thus far for the success module. So as usual, I will start with the emotional intelligence framework. This is something that we have done every time at the beginning of our lecture. Then I'll follow this by talking about self-awareness, then self-management, and then I'll talk about social awareness and also about relationship management. And finally, I will give you some final remarks for the course. Now, as we all remember, this diagram or framework for the emotional intelligence, it has two columns and two rows. And everything vertical is divided into self, which is something or things within us, and things that are in the environment or with the other people, so that's the social and relational. While the two rows are, the first row is about awareness, about we knowing about either ourselves or the relationship. And the second row is about regulation, is about how we manage or change or control what we are talking about. So in the first quadrant, you'll have self-awareness. So under self-awareness, you recall is the emotional awareness, the accurate self-assessment, self-motivation, and also self-confidence. And this is a cornerstone, as we said, because it helps us eventually achieve the self-management. How do we manage ourselves? And this is really about emotional self-control, transparency, adaptability, achievement orientation, initiative, and optimism. So if you could see what we are trying to say here is that being optimistic is a choice. Being performance-driven or achievement-driven is a choice that we can make. It comes more naturally to some, but there are techniques, and I think we've talked about that, and I'm going to touch on this again. From when we are self-aware, when we know our impact, how do we feel and how we impact the others, we start to be more socially aware. And under this, we have the empathy. How do we empathize with people? And organizational awareness, as well as service orientation. How do we be of benefit and service to others? And when we have done all that, finally, we moved in the past couple of lectures when we talked about relationship management. So we moved to a new level, which is, if you recall, we mentioned that happiness is the quality of the relationships that we have. It's not about the monetary or material things that we have, but the quality of the relationships that each and every one of us have. So under the relationship management, we talked about developing others, inspirational leadership, influence, being a catalyst for change, an individual that helps positive change to take place, and how to manage conflict, as well as working in teams. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to take you to these sections one by one and just remind you with what we have done specifically in our course to make these conceptual notions come to reality. So we have done things that are, very practical in nature. I would like always to remind you that everything starts here. So the brain is very important, and this is something that really is an investment that we have done on how do we change the world starting from here. So that's why I brought it with me today, because some of you, I think, miss the brain. Yeah. Okay, so I will continue. So in self-awareness, we have talked about, or we worked on my feelings today. So majority of you are doing this exercise daily. I'm very grateful for you. I will keep the course running even after we are done, and I highly encourage you to continue the exercise. So the more you exercise, the better you will be. And this is the exercise, if you recall, where we have to report how do we feel on a daily basis from a mental point of view, so mentally, emotionally, relationally, spiritually, vocationally, and physically as well. So it covers every aspect of our life, and when we describe this on a daily basis, the level of awareness increases because we are assigning our own words, our own descriptions to what is happening within us from an emotional point of view. The SOAC, the Strength, Opportunities, Areas for Improvement and Challenges, if you recall, was really about accurate self-assessment. Every one of us need to know their own strength, the areas that we can improve, and this can go a long way in improving everything else, including self-confidence and the achievement orientation, which is about, it's part of the management. The self-management is when we are taking control of what's happening in our brain. We are rewiring our brain. And if you recall, the brain rewiring happens when every one of us, every day, mentions the 5 things that we are grateful for on open learning. I think we talked about the theory about that, behind that. It's very easy for us to remember the negative things. It's very easy. We don't need to go do any exercise to realize if we feel pain, if we feel that we are insulted, if we feel that the room is hot. These things will happen automatically. But for us to realize it, to realize the blessings, the positive things that we have been having, requires an exercise, requires that we exercise our mental muscles to be aware of that. So in self-management, when we rewire our brains, we are literally exercising a self-management. Now, we also performed meditation. And meditation, when I introduced it to you, was just to show you its impact and its power. At the end of the day, it's really your choice to use that beyond the classroom. But I would like you to remember that this technique is available for you, and you can always refer back to the lecture, listen to the audio file, and perform the technique on your own. And I remember that quite a number of you, as well as the online students, they mentioned very positive things about the meditation technique. Now, I hope that you still have your opportunity notes. Anyone lost their opportunity note? Yeah. So this is if you think about it, this is a self-management. This is a self-management exercise. When you are replacing the P words in your life with opportunities, challenges, you are literally managing yourself, forcing yourself towards a more positive pathway. And I hope, and I've noticed quite a number of you have stopped using the word, and that's very powerful. As you move on in life, this is going to have a huge impact. So today, after the class, I'll have a signing up session. If anyone wants me to sign their opportunity notes, you just bring it up and I'll sign it for you. So we can do that. Yes, we can do that. So what I'm really trying to do here is to put everything that we have been working on together, all of you, the online students, and show you how this fits into the emotional intelligence framework. Social awareness, if you recall, we talked about empathy. And empathy is when you feel for the other people. It's not sympathy. It's not even endorsing of what they do, but feeling how do they feel. And if you recall, we did the mirroring exercise, and we also studied each other's and then presented to them how do they feel that day. And listening was a very important part of empathy. And I would like you to keep on, do that active listening in your life with your loved ones, with your families, with your friends. That's the most important thing, the most valuable thing that you could give to anyone, is to actively listen to them, not to judge them. Try to understand how do they feel. Put yourself literally in their shoes. Service orientation is something that, if you recall, we tried to plant a seed for. I brought the EPIC people who have built the house, built a number of houses, and we have set that goal, I believe, that before you guys graduate, you will be building a house. So this is really one avenue for service orientation, when you build a house for a deserving family. But service could happen in any way. I think if you go to a restaurant and you leave your place clean, I think this is itself is in a way a service orientation that you can be proud of. And it's all about social awareness, about what impact your presence has on other people. The epic of the entire course, as I've mentioned a number of times, is really relationship management. And we have done the mission partnership, and I'm not sure how much you've done in that space, but believe me, this is a very powerful technique. Now, we are getting into the exams very soon, and at times when things get tough, an encouraging word could mean the difference between failing or succeeding. And never underestimate the power of the word that you can exercise on your partner. So I encourage you to actively utilize that relationship that we've forged, and encourage your mission partner with positive words, messages, cards, telling them that I believe in you. And expect magic to happen, and it will happen, believe me. Now, even if you don't need anyone to encourage you, maybe the partner needs. And believe me, when you are involved in developing others, you are developing yourself as well. Because life is about not only taking, but it's about giving as well. And by giving, you become better people, better engineers, better leaders, better managers, better parents and sons and daughters, and so on and so forth. So if you see that, if I call my mission partner and tell him or her, your goal is to achieve that kind of results, so through that you indicate that you still remember the goal, and I know that you will do it, or I believe you can do it, or I have no doubt that you will achieve it. I think this is going to give, with repetition, it will give the assurance to the person who have declared that goal, that he or she is capable of doing it. That was one of the techniques that I thought is a simple thing that every one of us could do it. Definitely developing others could be much bigger than that, but I thought at least to give you the taste of being part of other people's success, and how sweet that taste is when you are being part of other people's success. We talked about conflict management, and if you recall, the technique was very simple. We said conflict normally emerges from misunderstanding, and the misunderstanding could be when we misunderstand ourselves, and it could be when we misunderstand others. and also it could be when we misunderstand the environment. And when we settle these misunderstandings, when we replace the ignorance with the knowledge, often a third pathway that could be superior to what we are fighting over presents itself. And always we would like you to look for the third option that's good for both parties, so that we don't have to have the conflict in the first place. The last thing that we've done, if you recall, was success, and that was the communication framework that we introduced. And success stands for simple, unexpected, credible, concrete, emotional stories and simulation. And that, as I told you, it's and we presented it as well, and we've done some exercises. This is a very powerful technique, and the more you use it, the more good you be at it, as it is the case of any technique. Now, why did I choose to put communication here? Under the relationship management, we had inspirational leadership. How do leaders inspire? They will inspire by their actions, but they also do inspire by the way they communicate. When we say we want you to be change agents, positive change agents, again, how to communicate it, how do you communicate your intent, is an extremely crucial ingredient of your success in achieving the change that you are looking for. And finally, we talked about teamwork, and all this work that you have been doing in teams is to build that positive relationship that you have with the team, with its ups, with its downs, with its conflict that you have managed, and the eventual triumph that you guys have achieved. And I'm very proud of each and every one of you. So this is what we have put in the realm of the relationship management. I am done. But before I leave, I really would like to leave you with this quote. So this is by Winston Churchill, and this was in a very crucial moment in the war, when the war started maybe to change slightly, in a certain direction. He said, now this is not the end. This is not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. So I would really like you to leave with this, because the end of the emotional intelligence and success course is not the end of you to work and invest on developing yourselves, rewiring your brains, creating self-awareness. This is not about you sitting and getting a mark for this course. It is beyond that, and it is, my hope, it is a journey that we are all starting today here together at Taylor's Lakeside campus, and all the people who are watching us online. And I hope that we continue creating and developing more self-awareness, developing more self-management, developing more social awareness, and also managing our relationships towards a fulfilling and a happy life. So I will take some questions, if any. Anyone has any question related directly to the course? So if you guys don't have any questions, I really would like to thank you very much for a wonderful semester that we have together, and I wish you the best with your exams. Thank you very much. Well done.